Hi everybody, Kimberly Crawford here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous card that Melania made. And what she did is she started by cutting a piece of Sweet Tooth cardstock using Stitch Strip Dynamics. And what Stitch Strip Dynamics does is it creates this background and doesn't actually cut the paper, which is really cool. And then she used it to guide her for her ink. To apply the ink, I'm going to use my mini ink blending tool and some of these foam ink applicators. And for each different color of ink, I'm going to make sure that I have a different applicator so that my inks don't get all muddy. That's not the look I'm going for with this. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to create a mask, and I'm going to move my mask all the way across my cardstock to follow these lines and to create that really amazing ink background. Now I'm using a Post-it note, but you could also use masking paper, the stamp masking paper, or even if you wanted, you could just use a piece of scratch paper. I like the Post-it note because it's a little sticky and holds it in place. I'm going to put some of the ink onto my ink applicator by just pushing it into the ink pad, and I'm going to start in a circular motion off the edge of my paper on my craft mat and moving on to my paper. I'm doing it this way because I want to make sure that I don't get big splotches of ink or really big lines of ink that I'm not looking for. I want to have a very even coverage of ink. So by doing this, I'm going to help control my ink. And I will continue to add ink until I get the depth of color that I am looking for. As I go, I'm just going to continue to move my masks down the cardstock, following those very cool stitch lines in the background. And now that I've got my Post-it notes in place, now I can use those and I can start off the edge of the paper and start on my Post-it note and continue with that circular motion. It's always easy to start with a lighter layer of color and then continue to add more layers and get more depth as you continue on. You can see I've just continued to ink all the way down my cardstock using my mask and continuing to move it as I go down. I think this is a gorgeous technique and I love the idea. I also really love the soft colors that Melania chose, and I'm really excited to use those in another project. And if you're interested in the ink colors that I've been using on this, you can check out the supply list that's underneath in the video description. I have a list of all the colors, and I also have a link to those colors. So if you absolutely have to pick them up, you can get a link right to them in the store. And there we have our finished background. Now we're going to go on and finish off the rest of the card. I have cut 2 small strips of gold glitter cardstock here, and I'm going to adhere those to the edges. And I'm going to use my fine line glue bottle, which is my favorite, and then I'm also going to use this glue. And this is my favorite glue. This is the glue that I've always used on my projects. I love that glue for paper to paper. And I fill my fine line glue bottle with that glue, and I just love the way that it works. The fine line glue bottle has a tip on it that makes the glue come out in this very narrow strip, and it's great for all sorts of things in card making, like putting a small strip of paper on or adhering dies or very small items to your cards. I really think it's a great tool and I use it all the time. I love what this little bit of gold does to this card and this background. It's absolutely beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the die cut word friend from Dynamics Friends, and I've cut it from the gold foil cardstock. And what I'm going to do to attach it to my card is I'm going to put foam adhesive on the back. I'm going to take my roll of foam tape and I'm just going to trim away small narrow pieces that will fit inside. You could also die cut this word from a foam sheet, an adhesive foam sheet, and it would cover the entire back of the word. Or you could also use fun foam, and then you could adhere the die cut word to the die cut fun foam to give you that depth when you adhere it to your card. I really like the way that foam makes things lift off the card and add some fantastic dimension. Now I'm going to add some little stars to the card, and Stitch Strip Dynamics comes with these great little accent pieces to add to your stitched lines. And what I'm doing is I'm using the quick pickup tool to pick up that little star and hold it in place while I apply a little dot of glue. And I love that it holds it for me. And I'm taking just a little bit of glue off the tip there to get it flowing. And now I can turn that stick over and easily adhere that star down. And it's really helpful when you're using small things. And not only did I use it for these small pieces here, but I also used it for my sequins as well. And I really like how much that helps keep things in place. And then I can set things exactly where I want them. One final touch is I stamped and embossed the sentiment from Amazing, and I'm going to attach that to the card. And I love that it's gold embossed, as it just adds to the whole rest of the sparkly look of this card. I'm going to use some of my ultra adhesive on this. I really like this adhesive. It's super strong, and with the inking and all the texture on the card, this is going to secure this in place very nicely. And there we go. We have this beautiful card from Meliana with a gorgeous background. Have fun creating this card.